Transit, how y'all doing? Oh, that was pretty good. I like that right there. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to turn to your neighbor, grab them by their ears. On the count of three, yell, "I'm so glad you're here." Ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right, turn to your other neighbor. Don't let them feel left out. Grab them by the ears on the count of three. Same thing. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hey, welcome to Transit. So glad y'all are here. Y'all look great in your costumes. Thanks for playing along. Thanks for inviting your friends. If it is your first time here, welcome. We're so glad you're here. We've designed this place with you in mind. We hope you love it. We hope you want to come back, and eventually hope you want to bring your friends with you as well. If we haven't met, my name is Darren, and I think you all picked the perfect Sunday to hang out with us because we are in Sugar Transit, right? And we are officially in spooky season. Does everyone like spooky season? Anyone love it? Yeah. All right. Are there anyone out there you're like, I just can't wait for this holiday to end? Yeah. Okay. All right, Alex, calm down. All right. I get that. All right, but I want to know, where are my people out there? I love Halloween. I love everything about it. I love all the scary stuff. I want to know if you love haunted houses. Let me hear you scream. Okay. Yeah, me too. I love them. I love everything about them. But I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell you about a time where I went to a haunted house, and it was quite possibly the scariest moment of my entire life. All right, so I'm going to be a little vulnerable. I don't know if you've ever been to this place right here. You've probably been to Six Flags, but have you ever been there during Fright Fest? And yeah, a couple of you. All right, well, I'll never forget when I was about 14 years old, maybe 15, a little bit older than you, and I went to Fright Fest and went with a group of friends, and they were like, we got to go to the haunted houses. I was like, wait, there's two? And they were like, yeah, there's like the regular haunted house, and then there's the clown haunted house. Anyone hate clowns? Yeah, you hate them? Yeah, they don't bother me, but they did that night. I'm not going to lie. And so we go through this haunted house, and I don't know if you've ever been through a haunted house. You know that they're fake, right? Like, they're not allowed to touch you. They can't hurt you. Like, but in the back of your mind, you're like, this is where I die. Like, this is it. Like, tell my mom I said that I love her, you know? And I remember going through, and my head was on a swivel the whole time, and we're, like, holding on to each other. We're screaming. Like, I'm not going to lie, I cried a little bit. It's okay. It happens. And I will never forget walking through this haunted house. I was so terrified. And we turned the corner of this long hallway, and at the end of the hallway, there's an exit sign pointing to the right, and I was like, oh my gosh, we finally made it. Like, we made it, everything's okay, we're safe, and we got to the corner, and when we turned, there's like a giant, like, it was like the longest hall I've ever seen in my life. Like, it just kept going. And we turned the corner, and when we turned the corner, this clown jumped out of nowhere, and behind like this barricade, and he screamed so loud, and it scared all of us. And in that moment, one of my friends looked at him and goes, "You can't touch us." And as soon as he said it, that guy goes, "Want to bet?" and jumped over the barrier. And in that moment, you ever heard of fight or flight? Yeah. Well, all my friends, they chose flight. I chose not fight. I chose straight up fear. I just backed against the wall, and I was like, and we were face to face like that, and a few things happened in that split second. When I was backed up against the wall, the first thing that happened is I saw my entire life flash before my eyes. I saw my past, my present, and my future. I saw my childhood. I was like, that's a pretty good childhood. I saw my future. I was like, I'm going to be a dad. And all that happened like in a split second. Also, in that same time, I peed a little bit. I'm not going to lie, like just a little bit, not a lot, just a couple drops. Not a big deal. Don't judge me. We've all done it. And in that moment, I realized that I'm the only one there, and I look down the hallway, and my friends are gone. And I'm like, did they just leave me right now? They just left me? Like, that's all happening internally, right? But externally, I was like, one of those, like, I'm screaming, I hope he leaves, and he's still there, right? And eventually, all right, spoiler alert, I survived, okay? It's okay, and I made it. But I will say this. When I got out of there, I was a little sweaty, covered in urine. It's okay. But me and my friends, we had a talking to when I got out, all right? I looked at them, I was like, why did you leave me in my darkest hour? Like, I needed your help. And they were like, how are we supposed to know? We didn't know you needed help. And I'm like, that's fair. That's fair. I didn't ask for help. That's fair. And that's kind of a silly example, but the reality is for every one of us in this room, we've had moments like that in our lives, right? Where things in our life have gotten scary, they've gotten challenging, they've gotten worrisome, they've gotten stressful, they've gotten really difficult, they've gotten really, really hard. And we need help, but we don't ask for it. Maybe for you, you need help in school. You're struggling, you're behind, you don't get it, you're overwhelmed, it's a lot of work, you don't get the math, you don't get the history, it just doesn't make sense to you. And you need help, but you don't ask for it. Or maybe for you, it's you have a bully, right? And you show up to school and you're scared to go to school. And maybe it's not even at school. Maybe it's on social media and no one else really knows about it. But this person won't leave you alone and you need help, but you don't ask for it. Or maybe for you, it's this right here. Maybe you've lost a loved one in the last couple of years. Or maybe it was this year and you're about to get to the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and it's like right around the corner and you know it's going to be different because they're not there anymore. And you're sad and you feel the weight of that and it hurts and you know you need help, but you're not telling anybody. You're not asking for help. Or maybe for you, it's this right here. Maybe your parents have gone through a divorce and you find yourself in the middle of what they've been going through. And you find yourself having to pick a side. Am I on mom's side or am I on dad's side? And whose house am I going to be at? And you find yourself mad at the situation and hurt at the situation and you wish they were together and you need help and you need to talk to someone, but you don't. And you're not alone. I think that's our response as humans. I think a lot of times when things get hard, we don't ask for help. I think a lot of us in the room, what we do is this. We try to handle things on our own. I know that's what I do. When I'm going through something really difficult, when I'm going through something really hard, I try and handle it on my own. And I would imagine that you do the same thing too. And here's why I think we do that. I think it's because asking for help is really hard, right? Asking for help is hard, and I think the reason why it's hard is because if we tell someone we need help, then we're admitting there's a problem. We're admitting that we're sad, we're admitting that we're hurt, we're admitting that it's a difficult season, we're admitting that the situation stinks, we're admitting that we need help, and asking for help is hard because we don't want to admit that there's actually a problem. But what if I was to say that if this is our response when things get hard, if this is our response when things get difficult, then we're going to miss out on something that I think is how we're designed to handle it. Because none of us in this room are actually designed to handle our stuff like this. And if you've ever done that, you're in good company. In fact, a guy named Paul about 2,000 years ago sees that there's a group of people that are kind of handling the stressors of life in this way. So he writes them a letter, and I think we can learn from them 2,000 years later on how to actually deal with the hard things in our life, the difficult things in our life, the stress that we feel in middle school. And this is what Paul tells the Galatians in chapter 6, verse 2. He says, carry each other's burdens. Now that word carry right there, you want to know what that means? It means carry. It means that there's going to be some things in your life that you just can't pick up. And somebody in your life is going to have to pick it up for the next season for you. There's going to be some things in your friend's life that they can't pick up, and they're going to need someone else to come alongside them and carry it for the next season for them. Because in middle school, life gets hard, life gets difficult. There are things you're going to experience in high school as well that if you try and do it alone, it's going to be even harder. And what Paul's saying, no. Carry. When you can't carry it, ask someone to carry it for you. When you see someone who can't carry it, pick it up and tell them you're going to carry it for them. Carry each other's burdens, all the hard things, the things that keep you up at night, the things that when you're getting ready for school, the things that are really, really difficult, the things you don't want anyone else to know about, you need someone to carry those for you. So he says, carry each other's burdens. Then he goes on to say this. And in this way, by carrying each other's burdens, you will fulfill the law of Christ. Now, that's like a weird phrase. We probably don't use that. You don't use that like in the lunchroom. I get that. But fulfilling the law of Christ, when Jesus was here, he gave us a command. He said, love God and love your neighbor. You don't know what the law of Christ is? What the expectation, if you're a follower of Jesus, is love God and love your neighbor. And what he's saying is when we carry each other's burdens, we are fulfilling what Jesus wants for us. That we are actually loving God and we are loving our neighbor, and that is exactly where we should be if you're a follower of Jesus. See, the reality is you're going to experience some hardship. You're going to experience some time that's difficult. Your natural instinct is going to be, I got this. But what Paul is saying is, no, the best thing you can do in that moment is this right here. And I hope if you don't remember anything else I say, this is what I want you to remember, is this right here. Is when you're stressed, pull others in. When I'm stressed out, I'm going to pull others in. When your natural tendency and my natural tendency is push others away, just deal with it, stuff it, keep it a secret. What Paul's saying is, no. If you want a great life, a fulfilling life, a better life, you want to get over this, you want to get out of this, you need some help, then you need to let some others in. Now, if you come to Transit every week, you know that's why we exist. But if it's your first time, we are so excited that you're here. And whether you believe in Jesus or not, or you believe in God or not, but you're just giving this a try, your friend invited you to a costume party, we are so glad you are here. And Transit exists whether you believe in God or not. Every one of you in this room needs a place to talk about the hard things in your life. And that's why your small group is so important. That's why you've got to go to every camp. It's why you've got to come to every event. You've got to be here every single Sunday. We know you play sports and you're going to miss every once in a while. We get that. But if you wake up on a Sunday morning and you got nothing on your calendar, you've got to be here because your life's going to get hard at some point and you need a group to carry your burdens. You can't do it on your own. So today, we're going to do things a little different in small group. Because we got some first-timers here. We want you to have a blast in small group. We want to teach you what small group's all about. All of you are about to go and have your own escape room in your small group. That's exactly right. So listen up. I'm going to dismiss you in just a second. I know. That's why you should never miss Transit. Always a surprise. When you get to your room, there's going to be a box. And on that box is going to be a little lock. And you've got to work together to figure out the combo to get into the box so you can get some candy. Do not cheat. Do not rip that box open. You do not need to leave your room to come get some code. Work together, have a blast, enjoy small group. You guys are dismissed. Y'all head on out. We'll see y'all next week and in 2 weeks for Transit Heyday.